welcome to this week's episode of TPI's Games to Watch. I'm Lizzie Arbogast, sports editor at Tallapoosa Publishers, and it is hard to believe, but we are in week 9 of the football season. Only 2 weeks remain in the regular season. A lot of our playoff hopes and dreams have been dashed. A lot of teams know that they'll be going on, know where they stand, so it's a really exciting time. It's either prepping for the playoffs or we're looking to end on a high note so that you can go into the off season and into the spring with something positive to build upon. One team that's definitely not going into the spring yet or thinking about the spring yet is Reeltown. The game to watch in Tallapoosa County is Reeltown at Ranburn. Reeltown is looking for its first undefeated season since 1991. The Rel Bills are sitting at 9-0 on the season. Ranburn coming off its first loss of the year. They are 7-1, although that loss was to Ohatchee, who is the number 2 team in Class 2A, one of the only 2 teams above Reeltown in the ASWA Class 2A rankings. So I'm looking for this to be a really good one, and I was a little surprised to see on the Historical Society that Reeltown is actually the underdog going into this game. I wouldn't have thought that, but I do think Reeltown has maybe faced a little bit worse competition than Ranburn has, which might lead some people to think that Reeltown might struggle. They also did lose this game last year, which people thought that they should have won. I think the biggest thing for Reeltown is they're going to need to slow down Ranburn's offense. Ranburn doesn't necessarily score a whole lot of points. I mean, they can, but what they do is they are very well-rounded in what they do. They have 7 different players who are rushing the ball for over 100 yards. Nobody who's really standing out, but the fact that they have so many different players who they can go to at any time. But if you look at the flip side of that, so does Reeltown. Reeltown, when you've got Cameron Faison, Eric Shaw, Johnny Brown, Iverson Hooks, Jay Corbett, the list goes on and on as well for the Rebels. So I think this could be a really good showing of what these 2 defenses are made of. This is also one of those situations where, win or lose, you're going to be up against one of the best in Class 2A. You're going to see where you stand going into these playoffs and what you need to work on. Reeltown has a bye next week, which I think is going to come at a good time for them, being that they are going to get a little bit of time to rest some players up and work some kinks out before they head to the playoffs. They were upset last year in the first round. They certainly don't want that to happen again. But before they can even think of the playoffs, they got to get through Ranburn first, and I think it's going to be a good, rather wet but good game. The rain might actually work in Ranburn's favor just because of how much Reeltown likes to run the ball, but it should be a good contest either way.
I'm Caleb Turnerton with the Wetumpka Herald, and in this week's game to watch, we're going to take a look at Wetumpka hosting the number 2 team in Class 6A in Muscle Shoals. These 2 teams did face off last year up in North Alabama when Wetumpka made the 4-hour trip before falling behind 24-0 in the first half. They cut the deficit to 10 points, but they ended up losing that game 24-14, and Wetumpka was a higher-ranked team in last year's matchup. This year, Muscle Shoals is trying to finish off an undefeated regular season. They are currently 9-0. They're led by transfer quarterback Logan Smothers, who came over from Athens and has rejuvenated that offense this year. They've scored more than 42 points 6 times this season, including last week's win over Athens. Wetumpka's defense has been playing with a little more confidence. They've seen their points against go down in each of the last 3 weeks. While that might not continue this week, playing with confidence will be key to try to slow down Logan Smothers and that offense that the Trojans have given trouble to all the teams they faced this year. Wetumpka's offense, on the other hand, has to be feeling better about itself after 2 of its stronger weeks of the season. They've responded well after losing to Prattville and Stanhope Elmore. But Muscle Shoals' defense is probably one of the best they will see all season. Muscle Shoals has already had 3 shutouts this year, and they're only allowing 8.9 points per game. This will be Wetumpka's homecoming, so make sure to get out early, but try to plan ahead because we are expecting some rain, maybe slow down both offenses, but it should still be a good one on Friday night at Hohenberg Field.
Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Carmen Rogers with Tallapoosa Publishers, bringing you this week's Games to Watch. I'm back here at J.E. Hott O'Brien Stadium with Tallahassee Tigers head coach Mike Battles. Coach, the Tigers suffered a tough loss last week against Charles Henderson High School, but it's a fresh week. They have their sights set on Beauregard High School. Can you tell me how you feel heading into Friday night's game?
Well, we took a licking last week. Charles Henderson played a really good game. We couldn't get anything going. We turned the ball over. We self-destructed inside, and so that wasn't near as bad as when we finally came off the field and realized that, Rehoboth had beaten Valley. And, you don't have to tell kids with social media and everything, they know exactly what's going on. So they knew before we got back to the field house that, that pretty much knocked us out of the playoffs. And so that was a hit to them. That was something that was important all year long, something to shoot for. And, it was really quiet, and I hated it for them. This has been a good group of seniors, and they've been a part of winning a lot of ball games. But they did exactly like what I expected they would do Monday. They came back out here. We went right to work. We really didn't talk about anything, playoffs or the game Friday night. Sometimes you just got to let it go. They don't need me to tell them what happened Friday night, So we just kind of didn't really discuss that one. All we were focused on was this week, and we've had good practices, and we'll have another good one today. And we've talked about finishing strong. We can still finish with a winning record. And how you finish is how you'll be remembered. So, our seniors, I think they understand that. I think that they're going to go out and put on a good performance. And I've told them this all along. Everybody else on the team will play as hard as you do. That's what senior leadership is. If you go out and hustle and you go out and play hard and you go have the great body language and the positive attitude, everybody else will. And that's what we've had. And so, I expect them to play 2 really good games these next 2 home games. We do have a little bit left to play for, and the fact that we can have a winning season, and, this bunch has never beat Beauregard. And so we haven't beat Beauregard since I've been the head coach here at Tallapoosa. And so they've had it out for us for, I think, 4 times. And so hopefully we can go out there and play well against them. They're coming off their first win of the season, and so we're not catching them at a great time, but I think our kids will show up. We're at home again, played a lot of games on the road, and we got these last 2 at home, and so hopefully for them that we'll show up and play a good ball game like we're capable of doing, and finish this thing on a winning note.
Sounds good. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us. We hope you'll join us again next week, and until then, I'm Carmen Rogers reporting for Tallapoosa Publishers.